We are getting closer and closer to Axie Infinity Origin launch, or whatever name it will have next, because Axie Origin might no longer be Axie Origin. They are thinking of changing the name, but we'll talk about that a little bit later, hence why the title that we might not get Axie Origin. Now, phases and advancement in plans, those are the phases that Axie team wants to develop or introduce before the full game is released and present that to the community. So the first phase that we have is progress on Origin is coming along, and so far they have seen over 600,000 registered accounts. Now, is that a lot? Is that not a lot? It's hard to decide. The daily active users for Axie Infinity currently is standing at about 700,000. So I'm not sure what the daily active users for Axie Origin is. Once they implement earning mechanics, we will see that number probably bump up quite a bit, because there's not a lot of interest in Axie Origin alpha testing, as whatever you build will change significantly. So people just play it for the fun of it rather than to build anything in the alpha testing. Just get used to the mechanic pretty much. Now this post will walk you through the thinking and how we'll batch together updates in phases of rebuild towards global launch. The first one is major balance changes, which we are currently in. Focus around major balance changes, making the game more competitive, improving the amount of in-game decision making, and ultimately making the game more fun. So far it hasn't gone that well. I mean, we've seen plenty of balancing changes, but they are nowhere near having a balanced game. There's still broken things in the game, such as Wall Gecko, which has been nerfed a couple of times. But if you look at the leaderboard currently, there's maybe 3 to 4 builds which are viable. Maybe it's because we have limited amount of players playing the game. Once you add that monetary incentive, we will see more teams being useful, but so far a lot of the cards are not great. You're working with a limited amount of cards which are useful, and that is the way it will go, in my opinion. You cannot make all of the cards useful, because some of them will simply be better than others. Now you have alternative teams which are very specific, but so far not that good, in my opinion, and it will be hard to balance. But as long as there's at least 6 to 10 available teams that you can play to achieve the high ranks, I think it will be all good. I would like to see a little bit more changes coming through, maybe once a week in the alpha testing, because so far not a lot has been changing when it comes to the meta, and we really need to stress test how many teams can be broken before they launch burning mechanics and before they launch a proper Axie Origin season. So this is phase 2. They want to reset the progress, they want to reset the moon shards, reset the MMR, and provide the runes and charms as well as adventure. So in phase 2, which we expect to come in July, we'll see a full in-game reset of MMR, moon shards, and runes and charms, and this will be a great time to get a feel for the progression system in the game and to ensure that crafting is working without any bugs or exploits. And we'll also be distributing a small amount of access to the players on the top of the leaderboard during this phase. So we are not even gonna get a full launch of Origin in July, which we expected to see. It's going to be a very limited launch of Axie Origin. Runes and charms will be entirely removed. Players will collect moon shards and craft runes and charms from the beginning of the progression system. The adventure mode will be reset and all progression will be deleted. MMR will be reset. Some access rewards will be distributed. Then during phase 2, we encourage players to help find any bugs that are happening in the game. So pretty much everything that we've been doing, except you now have to get your runes and charms rather than having them all available. And phase 3 is what we are waiting for. So in the introduction of SLP rewards as well as NFT runes and charms. So phase 2 concludes, we will remove SLP rewards from V2 and move SLP rewards to Origin. In parallel, we will introduce an SLP burn mechanic through crafting of NFT runes and charms, which you will be able to mint on Ronin and sell or gift via the marketplace. Now phase 3 specifics. SLP earning is added during this time. Expect possible balance changes to come as well as we gather data on burn and mint. Moon shards are reset from players' inventories. This is replicating how seasons will function in Origin. So moon shards will not carry between the seasons, which is interesting, as you will have to grind all of that back again. Runes and charms are all expired from the previous phase, meaning that they will remain on your account, but you are unable to equip them. You may disenchant them for moon shards. This is replicating how seasons will function in Origin. So runes and charms from previous seasons expire and cannot be equipped in future seasons, but you can disenchant them for moon shards. NFT runes and charms are craftable and require SLP to be burned as part of the recipe. Recipe cost may be tweaked during this time as we gather data, and MMR and leaderboards will be reset yet again, and access rewards will be distributed to the highest ranking players. So phase 3 is pretty much the full on season, a season 0 that we are waiting for, but as phase 2 will come in July, I don't expect phase 3 to come before August, if I'm honest. So a lot of waiting before all of this is properly concluded. And phase 4 is the global launch of Axie Infinity Origin. As phase 3 ends, they will officially launch season 1. So moonshards are reset from players' inventories, all runes and charms expired, including NFTs, which can be collected or disenchanted at any point, and MMR leaderboards will be reset as a normal season process. We believe the best is yet to come for Origin and our community. If you have any suggestions on how to make Origin is the best it can possibly be, please share the feedback through the ideas portal. So we haven't really learned anything that we didn't know, except for that we are not getting the full game in July, but rather later on. Now, we already knew that the moonshards would reset. We knew that runes and charms would require SLP. They're just doing it at a steady pace, step by step, rather than introducing all of it all at once. That means the game will not come until August, maybe September time. And last thing that I wanted to bring your attention to is Origin and the name change of Origin. So for the full launch of Origin, they are considering changing its name, and here are the reasoning: reducing confusion and ensuring that they can do more around Origin Axies brand long term, signal a powerful transition into global launch, and help position V3 better and more sustainably in the long term within the Axie universe. So people were getting confused between the Origin Axies, which are currently available, those were the first batch of Axies, and the Origin Axie as a game. So Origin owners have indicated concerns with the clash in branding. Origin Axies are precious NFTs, and they want to do more with Origin Axies in the future, and it would make sense to distinguish between Axie Origins as the game and Axie Origins as the pets that you own. So they are still thinking about those names. They were talking about some ideas right here. Let me guys know in the comment section down below, what idea would you have for Axie Origin a new name? I honestly don't have one, so we'll see what they come up with. Axie Beyond is actually not a bad idea. I honestly like that one. I'll be honest with you, I think Axie Beyond is not a bad idea. Baronar has presented some ideas. Axie Infinity Evolution, I would take out the Infinity from the name. I don't think you need it. It's a very long name. I think something like Axie Beyond just makes sense. Axie Ascend Evolution, Frontier Expedition, Prime Lunation, Journey Awakening. Honestly, Axie Beyond is probably the best idea that they have so far. Anything longer than that will be hard to brand around, but that's just my opinion. Let me guys know what do you think about that. And they are thinking of changing the name from Axie Origin, and it kind of makes sense as they already used Origin for the Axies. And that's going to be it for Axie Infinity update and what has been happening for the last couple of days or weeks. I'm just trying to keep you updated. I know there hasn't been that much content lately, but there's simply not that much to do around Axie Infinity as there is a transitional period. I hope you understand, and that's all I can really say. I'll see you in the next one, guys.